Oh, yeah. Can you hear me? I think you can. So we're going to start now. It's just gone one. So I'd like to welcome you all here today to our session on getting your questions answered at PayPal. My name is Deborah Lynch, and I'm the manager of Developer Technical Services in Europe, based out in Dublin in Ireland. And presenting with me today is Brandy Carter. Brandy is one of our lead engineers in Austin, also in Developer Technical Services, but has previously worked in Merchant Technical Services. So Brandy has a wealth of knowledge on support and PayPal, which she's going to share with you today. So firstly, we'll just have a quick overview of the agenda of today's session. First of all, we are going to give you an introduction into the three support teams that are available to you. So we have the business support, developer technical services, and merchant technical services. And Brandy's going to run through those teams with you, give you an overview of the PayPal products they support. Then we're going to talk about support in relation to your project lifecycle. So as you start developing your website, your app, where is the support you can get at PayPal during those stages? And we've broken them up into 4 stages for simplicity. We have getting started, integration testing, going live, and once you're live, where you get your support. Also, just to note that we give a lot of support information during the presentation. So we give phone numbers. They are North American numbers. So if any of you need European numbers, come to me afterwards and I can give you the numbers that we have for Europe. And also, during the presentation, we have a lot of references to URLs for support content throughout the presentation. But don't worry about it. We kind of thought most people might be a little bit tired now. We're in the second half of the second day. So for your convenience, we've done out these business cards for you, which we'll give out at the end, which have all the necessary links that you'll need for support content and support teams here. So I'm going to hand over to Brandy now, who's going to give you that overview of the support teams.
Okay, thank you. Okay, my name is Brandy Carter. I'm with DTS. At PayPal, some of you may know, or all of you know, that we do have a lot of products that we offer. So to help support those products, we've broken up the support teams into 2 distinct categories. We have our business support and our technical support. And I'll talk about business support right now. Our business support team specializes in the merchant and business-related questions and all non-technical PayPal questions. They help merchants, PayPal users, developers, and innovators alike in trying to answer some of those general business questions. And I'll talk about what those would be. If you have any questions in regards to running reports inside PayPal.com or running them from the business portal, they can help with that. Navigating PayPal, they would assist there. If you have account reconciliation questions, like trying to balance your website, PayPal.com, and if you're using a merchant account, getting those all together in a row there. If you have an app idea and you want to make sure that it's in line with any of our policies and privacy concerns, they can assist with that. If you have questions in regards to settlements, either captured transactions or sales transactions, and you're not seeing them in your bank, or one's missing, something along those lines, they would assist. As well as if you have any questions on the discount rates and fees, if you're a charity and you're running what the rate is or the discount, if you're a high volume, large merchant, what the discount would be there. These all fall under the business support category, and the business support team would actually handle those questions. Next up, we have technical support. Our tech support teams help developers and innovators integrate with the PayPal APIs. And within tech support, we divided it into 2 groups. We have developer technical services, also known as DTS, where I'm from. They focus on the open platform products. And we have merchant technical services, MTS, which focuses on the web checkout products or the traditional core PayPal products. And we'll go through what actually falls under those 2 categories. So first up is DTS, supporting open platform. And what is open platform? Under open platform, we have adaptive payments. In there, that's where you would do chain payments, pre-approvals, parallel payments, and such. We have adaptive accounts that allows you to create accounts from the API. You can create business accounts or personal accounts. You can also use the Get Verified Status API there. We have the Permission Service API. This allows you to walk a customer through setting up third-party permissions. So instead of directing them to the PayPal website and checking the permissions, you can actually walk them through that flow so that way they stay essentially in your site and you control that flow there. We have authentication service. You actually see this on X.com. The single sign-on feature you see there is part of the authentication service. We have the recently announced digital goods on AP, on platform, as well as the recently announced PayPal apps. Also under Open Platform, we have the mobile area. So that's a mobile payment library, which includes MPLs for the iPhone and the Android environments, as well as the recently announced Mobile Express Checkout. All these products fall under Open Platform and are supported by the DTS team. MTS, they have the web checkout products, which are really the traditional core PayPal API, essentially what started PayPal. We have Website Payments Pro, which is the PayPal merchant account offering that we have. That's pretty much your gateway and your processor all rolled into one your PayPal account. Under Pro, we do support recurring payments as well as reference transactions and non-reference credits. Next up is Standard. Website Payments Standard pretty much encompasses like buy now buttons, donate buttons, subscription buttons, pretty much the buttons you see, the checkout with PayPal buttons you see on the web, that falls under Standard. We have Express Checkout, which is a step up from Standard because it allows you to control the experience a little bit more. And under Express Checkout, we do offer parallel payments and digital goods in that product. In PayPal.com, we have the button factory and downloadable history logs. We also have the Payflow Gateway service. So if you already have a merchant account and you need assistance hooking up your website to your processor, you would use the gateway. That encompasses Payflow Pro and Payflow Link. We have IPN, which stands for Instant Payment Notification. Anyone using Express Checkout or Standard would be using IPN just to manage their transactions in day-to-day. We have MassPay, the API, and from the PayPal UI, which allows you to send multiple payments in one block. And we also have Virtual Terminal. These all encompass the web checkout suite of products and are all supported by the MTS team. And now I'll hand it over to Debs to handle the product lifecycle.
Okay. So Brandy's just given you an overview of those three support teams: business support, developer technical services, and merchant technical services. And as you can see, there's an awful lot of products out there, and a lot of products that each of the teams support. So for the next section, we're going to try and relate this to kind of the real-world environment, your actual project life cycle. As we said, we've broken it down into 4 stages. For each of those stages, we're going to talk about both the support content and the support teams that are going to be available to you at that stage. So stage 1, we're going to talk about getting started, how to familiarize yourself with the PayPal products. We've just given you an overview, Brandy's given you an overview of about 20 products there, but where do you go to get further information? Then the next, stage 2, kind of, you've selected your PayPal product. Where do you get support on integrating that product and testing that product? Stage 3, going live, you're happy, you've selected your product, you've done all your integration testing. How do you get that in a real-world environment to start your transactions in your live PayPal account? And then stage 4 is once you are live, where do you get support post-live? So again, Brandy gave you a quick overview of the products. I just want to reiterate them again, just so that you're familiar with them. We've broken them down into 3 categories, just for simplicity. And we will refer to these kind of as categories throughout the rest of the presentation. So we talked about the open platform. That's all the new stuff, really, that's come out in the last year, the adaptive, the permissions, authentications, and the new PayPal apps. Web checkout, the more traditional solutions, Pro, Standard, EC, Payflow, MassPay, and VT, and then the most recent mobile, MPL, and MEC. So those 3 categories we're going to refer to throughout the rest. We're going to show you where you get your content, support content, and the support teams. Okay, so the first area we'd recommend you going to get more information on that second category, that web checkout category, is the business portal, which is available on PayPal.com in the business tab section. So here you can get a lot more information about those Express Checkout products, about EC, about MassPay, VT, that kind of the traditional PayPal products. So the next one then is kind of more in relation to, actually all products categories are covered here. So X.com, you're all obviously, you might have seen a few X's around the place over the last couple of days. So X.com really is our, is our main source of support content for all of those three categories. So for the open platform, for the web checkout, and for the mobile. The documentation available, there's a vast array of documentation available there on X.com. So from the Dev Tools tab, documentation, you're going to get all the documentation and manuals on all the products, on all the categories that we spoke of. So it's all there for you guys. The second area which we really recommend you go and use a little bit more as well is the forum space on X.com. So this is kind of where you can interact with your peers, with fellow developers, with guys who have been through the integration process, give you the tips and tricks, and give you, some recommendations. Say if you've done some basic knowledge, you've read some of the documentation, you have a few little questions, you kind of want to bounce them off fellow developers, go there. And also within the forum space, the two teams that Brandy mentioned, MTS, Merchant Technical Services, and DTS, Developer Technical Services, also work that forum space. So we ensure that the information shared is correct. So it's a really good starting point for you to get a little better handle on the products that are available for you. And again, all three areas are covered in that forum space. So you can start a discussion on any of the products in any of those categories that we spoke of. Okay, so that's stage one out of the way. So you've got a lot more information now about the products. You kind of have a fair idea of what you're going to go with. So your next stage then is actually integrating and testing. So we're going to talk about, the support here that's available. So we have a sandbox environment where it should be your first port of call here. So it's developer.paypal.com. And it's also, you can link to it from X.com as well, from the testing page on X.com. You can link straight through it now. And that's where you're going to go to set up all your test accounts for your integration testing. Then the actual integration content that's available, again, X.com. Go to the dev tools. Here you'll get your sample codes, you'll get your SDKs, and you're going to get your trainer modules. An awful lot of data is there for you, so get you started, and it's quite easy to just reuse those sample codes and SDKs. So for both these, for both your integration testing, your actual code integration and your testing, again, those two teams, MTS and DTS, are available and only too happy to support you with any questions, queries you have. So Brandy's going to tell you later about how to actually contact you. We talk a lot about these teams, and we're going to talk later about how you actually contact us. But yeah, so a lot of content available on X.com in the dev tools space. Then stage 3, you're going live. So you've selected your product, you're happy out, you're integrated it, you've tested it, everything's looking good, and now you're ready to go live and start transacting in a real world environment and making lots of money. So for a couple of those categories, for that open platform category which we spoke of, so the new APIs, the adaptive APIs, and for mobile MPLs, there's actually an approval process required for you to go live. So we just need to see what you guys are doing and to make sure it's all in accordance with the PayPal terms and conditions. And to do this, to submit your application for approval, you need to go on X.com, go to the My Apps, log in, go to the My Apps space, and submit your application there. It's all pretty straightforward. I think there were talks yesterday on the approval process as well. But if you have any issues, it's that Developer Technical Services group which is going to support you throughout the approval as well. And then there's a couple of products in the traditional web checkout area. So the Pro product and the VT product, they also require an approval process. And that's done back in the business tab on paypal.com. Okay? And the business support team can support any questions which you have on that approval process. So for the fourth stage, making profit, I'm going to hand over to Brandy, who's going to walk you through this bit.
Thanks. All right, so you've gone live, you picked your product, everything's good, you're making money, but you may run into a couple of issues along the way. I'm just going to go over some information on how to actually contact the support teams I talked about earlier, and also to sign up for some information that will help you, the site notification and our release notes. So go with that. To start, technical issues are supported by, like I said, DTS and MTS. And up here, we have their phone numbers and URLs. At the bottom, the support hours are actually based on phone. We do have some extended hours for ticket support. the URLs are www.paypal.com/DTS for your platform products and www.paypal.com/MTS for your web checkout products. So you can note that. If not, again, like I said, I have business cards here that have all this information on it that I will be handing out to each and every one of you, just in case you don't have a pen or whatever. Next up, what I wanted to talk about is a notification and release notes. So on X.com, we have a wealth of information, one of those being our system status area. This is where you can see our maintenance notices, any outages, or any kind of alerts that happen in all the environments. We have an area for each of the environments, the live environment production, our sandbox environment, and our beta sandbox environment. And it's recommended to definitely sign up for these alerts so that way you know if we're having a problem and how it would impact your business. RSS is available if you have that set up, also email notifications, or if you don't want to do that, you can just view the statuses at www.x.com/status, and it actually has the full history. So if you think you missed something, you can go back and it will just list everything out by date. On that same note, we have the release notes. In the release notes area, this is where we have all the new information about what we're doing, what's actually going out in our updates. So new APIs, any kind of updates to the documentation, it's going to be in the release notes area. Again, it works very similar to the notifications where we have RSS and email available, or you can just view them by date on X.com. By the way, all these are under the Dev Tools tab, but we do have quick URLs for reference. So for the release notes, it's www.x.com/release_notes. Last up, well, not last up, but if you have any business issues, this is our information for contacting business support. Again, this is in regards to if you have questions about any kind of fees or rates, or just any general, just not technical issues that are impacting your site, but more general business questions to help your business run a little more smoothly, working in paypal.com, trying to get your reports, come tax season, you're going to need those. So you would contact our business support team. On the right here, you can see their phone number and support hours. Again, the support hours are for the phone. We do have extended hours for email. The best way to email business support is to go to www.paypal.com and click on the Contact Us tab. Now, you may have customers, or you will have customers, and if they run into any issues with their PayPal account, you can direct them our way. Say they got a decline and they wanted some more information as to what happened and why, or they're missing a transaction in their PayPal profile, but you can see the payment in your account that was made to you, or if they just need to change some account information, like update their email address, or anything like that, you can totally send them to our customer service team, and we'll be happy to help with them. On the right is their phone number and their support hours, and they can also do via email at contactus@paypal.com. I just wanted to let you know on the paypal.com Contact Us, if you log into your account beforehand, you'll be given a local number. So for those of you who are outside the U.S., you can get your local country number if you log in first at paypal.com and then click Contact Us. Otherwise, you can just dial this number. That works out okay. And to wrap things up, I'll turn it back over to Debs.
Thank you. Okay, so we've given you an awful lot of information there. We're aware of that, and hopefully we'll have a little bit more chat now in the Q&A session. But 3 kind of top tips which we want to leave you with anyway is the first one, we'd really recommend you to sign up for those notifications. So by signing up, you know exactly if there's anything going on the various environments which you're going to be using, the sandbox environment or the live environment. You're also going to keep in touch with the releases, what's going on. We constantly are releasing new features, new functionalities out there, and we really want to keep you guys in touch with the great features that are available. And by signing up, you'll know exactly what's going on. So we'd really recommend you go do that if you haven't done already. Second one there, like we talked about X.com, the Dev Tools area, it's just so much information there for you. And once you start familiarizing yourself with it, visiting it, you'll get great benefit from it. So we spoke about all the documentation that's there available, and that's all currently being updated and kept up to date with the new releases. And also we talk about all that sample code, the SDKs, the training modules. Really, there's so much information there to get you guys started in integrating. And then thirdly, use the support teams. We're here to help and support your integration. So we talked about the 3 support teams that are available, business support, developer, technical services, and merchant technical services, and we're here to support you and only too happy to. So finally, the last URL you need to remember is x.com, and it shouldn't be a hard one to remember. So anytime you have any technical questions, please go to x.com, click on Contact Us, and there you can see, all the various ways of contacting the technical support teams. Click on Technical Support, and from there you can log your ticket, you can start your chat, you can contact us directly. And please do. So I think that's all we have for the moment, so it's time for your questions. We'd like to hear from you. Particularly, we'd love to hear if you've used the support that is available that we spoke of, if you've contacted developer technical support or merchant technical support, what kind of experiences you had, and were you aware of the amount of support content that is available on x.com?
Cool. Yes? Okay.
Frequently run into people who they're just denied decline.
Okay.
They know the money's there. So we contact you guys, and all we're told is security, can't discuss it anymore. And we're sometimes given vague instructions like, break the $1,000 into 5 payments of 200, try that again.
Right.
That doesn't work. We have a customer who wants to give us money,
Mm-hmm.
and we want to take it. And the customer's getting more and more pissed off because they see it as our fault.
Okay, I'll repeat the question just in case you guys didn't hear it. He has some customers, and they're pretty large invoices between $1,000 and $3,000. Is that correct? That are coming through, and he's seeing some declines on that. And when he calls them to support, he's getting essentially the answer that it's a security issue, and he just wants more information. I can talk to that. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Okay, we do have here in the payments business, there are definitely a lot of factors involved to essentially rate a transaction as it comes through. We call that our risk model. And usually, if someone gets a decline, and if we look at the transaction, we'll look at all the factors in there and see if it was actually a bank decline. I assume these are they coming from their PayPal account, like a bank account, or are they coming from a credit card? Do you know? Okay, so one or the other. So so that is looked at before it's processed, and sometimes declines. Decline's the right word. Yeah, I'm gonna go with decline. Declines do happen, and it is due to the risk model. Unfortunately, only thing that we can do from that point of view from your customers is if they're using PayPal to make sure that their information is updated. I mean, that is correct information. For example, the bank account that they have on file actually is their current bank account. The address listed actually goes to that bank account. So that way, these are all checks that are done in the system just to rate the fraud score, essentially, of that transaction. So we are looking at that. I mean, from a communications point of view, I am sorry that you weren't giving more information. It is a little vague because we really can't talk too much about the risk model and such and exactly what caused it to go off. But from your customer's point of view, if they can just make sure that they have all their information in their account and that it is correct, essentially adding more information would improve the likelihood of the transaction going through.
That's great. Some of these, they don't want to have a PayPal account. They just want to straight out credit card charge.
Right.
So what do we do in that case?
Unfortunately, there's not. If it's just going to be a DCC transaction and it does not go through, like it declines, there's not much we can do about it. It would be essentially it's a case-by-case basis. So, for example, if I look at a transaction that goes through that was done with a credit card, which is direct card entry, and I see that the address they put in was incorrect or the zip code, like they had a PO box as an example, and they put the number before the PO box. That's gonna flag a decline because the address did not match the billing address we got back from the card company. But I would have to, we would have to look at that and see that. So each case will be different. There's not just a general reason why things are declined. But sometimes we can correct those and coach you going, this customer had a PO box. Maybe you should have them reverse the order of the address. And then sometimes it's going to be just I'm sorry, but this transaction is just declined as is.
How would we drill down to that kind of feedback? Because we've just never been able to get there. And I'm sorry for talking this out.
Oh, no, that's okay. That's fine. You will call into business support and have the transaction IDs ready, and pretty much unfortunately you would have to talk to us about each transaction. We would have to look at each transaction to see where the error is.
So yeah, you'd need to start building up kind of a record, a history, or just give us, a good overview of some of the transactions that did decline, and from there we can investigate.
Because we'll have to look at each individual transaction. I can give a general answer up here, but I would have to look at the transactions in each transaction to see what actually happened.
Is there somewhere we can eventually get to where the person would be prepared to review it and sort of talk to the customers and how validate it?
Oh, no.
Okay, that's fine, yeah.
Thank you, Beth.
Okay,
Yeah.
can you speak up? Sorry.
I just said I have a suggestion for them. Some banks will limit debit card transactions to $800 to $1,500 a day.
Yeah.
And the kind of standard from most everyday type of accounts is about $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
So they have a limit of $1,000 on their debit card, and they're using that debit card to push the transaction
yeah.
through in a single day. It'll decline from
Yeah.
Right.
So
Thank
sometimes
you.
you're right. The decline is on the bank side.
I can, just in case you guys didn't hear that, she was saying that people who use debit cards, essentially as credit cards, they have a Visa or MasterCard logo on it. They will have a daily transaction limit, or could have a daily transaction limit, which could decline. So that's something that your customers can look at if they are funding their PayPal account with a debit card. Thank you very much for that information. Yes? Okay.
Yeah.
Is there any way we could get to like secondary support really quickly? And also, a large percent of our IBM issues are actually not resolved because it's like barriers between our server and your server, and what happens.
So is your problem the actual turnaround time? So this gentleman was talking about IPNs and issues that he's experienced and how to get them resolved. Is it the turnaround time that's the issue, really? The turnaround time, the time to resolve your issue?
It's more that, there's also a fair percentage of issues that are just never resolved. For example, there are certain situations that we ran into where, for example, we ran into a networking event, on our hosting environment, for example, which sometimes, our hosting company told us they had a denial of service attack.
Right.
Where there's, the TCP open only halfway open.
Okay.
When that happens, PayPal would send us an IPN and fail,
Mm-hmm.
and would never realize. Okay. We were never able to resolve that with PayPal.
Well, I can talk to that. You can resend IPNs from PayPal.com. PayPal won't automatically retry. Well, we'll do an automatic retry once, but if we see that you're down, we won't send it again because essentially we don't want to spam your non-existent server. So we put the power of resending IPNs in your profile. So if you go into your profile, it lists actually all your IPNs, and you can actually resend all those.
Yeah, but we do this for third parties. Basically, we handle large.
Okay.
Okay.
We handle 500,000 IPNs a month. We can't have people resend by hand.
Right.
Well, I suppose it's kind of, 50-50, so there's a certain amount of stability which you'd have to ensure on your side if the IPNs are failing because there's a server down.
Right. What we're trying to understand is what are the rules, stability in terms of like how do we get to the next level of the technical team that we have a discussion that, under what circumstances we'll never respond. And that's never clear to us. I don't know how we get that.
Are you calling the number that I listed earlier, or? Okay.
So you get the
So you're
first
actually going to. So actually, that's already the higher level of technical support. The number I put there actually puts you up there instead of having to call customer support and they transfer you. So you're already at essentially the gate as it were. You can also, if you use the URL, it also takes you to the same place, www.paypal.com/MTS. Right.
Okay. Okay.
Hooray, audience participation.
This is great. We're getting issues resolved.
Yeah. Any more connections I can make here while I'm standing up on the stage?
Exchange any more business cards? Have you, just a show of hands, has anybody signed up for those notifications which we talked about, so you can get the system status and the release notes?
No,
Have you signed up for that? No?
Well, now you know about it, and you can sign up.
I would really recommend you do that. Yeah.
Yes. www.x.com/notes, or you can just go to x.com and click on DevTools. Whichever one's easier for you.
We'll give you a nice business card with the link now in a minute.
Oh, yeah. We'll make sure to hand those out before we end. Any other questions or comments or what have you? No?
Have any of you guys contacted Developer Technical Services?
Or is anyone actually using the platform or mobile? Besides that
One
guy.
gentleman at the end.
All right. Cool.
Okay. Well, please take a card here anyway, so at least you have all the contact details to go away with. And if you have any further questions, myself and Brandy are working down at the main PayPal booth, so in the developer support area, and we will be there with the DTS and MTS teams for the remainder of the day. So if anything else comes up, please come over to us and have a little chat, and we'll try and resolve any issues you have.
Cool.
Okay.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Woo.